How do we really know that's what Tua said? He could say anything he wanted. Tua's like, I didn't say any of that stuff. I said, who is this calling me? I don't know who you are. I'm kidding. But Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa together, joined at the hip in Miami. They made it clear after they fired Brian Flores they're going all in with Tua until they don't.
Yeah.
Look, I still don't believe they're out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. I really don't. I just think they were trying to take some of the heat out of the hot kitchen after they fired Brian Flores. They wanted to create the impression they're not dysfunctional so they could hire a good coach to come in and take over.
Right. And I think Brian Flores was probably annoyed with some of the things that were going on within the organization. He's not the type of guy that's just going to sit silent and go, hey, wait, we're doing things the wrong way, but I'll just sit here and be quiet. I think there was issues there. Right? He's not the kind of guy that's going to hold back. He's got an issue. He's kind of brutally honest that way. So I think that kind of played into it as well. But I think your Tua stuff, you're exactly right. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I don't believe they're totally out of Deshaun Watson thing. I do think they want to make it work with Tua. He's the number 5 pick in the draft. It's a pretty big asset in your organization, right? So, yes, they want to. I think they realize there's a fan base that wants it to happen with Tua. No matter what, there's a group of Miami fans that are just, doesn't matter. They're blinded. All they see is touchdown passes. Even when it's interception, they're like, he threw a touchdown pass. That's all I'm doing on. But I like the hire of McDaniels for Tua and the Dolphins. I mean, of course, I know Mike a little, been around him with Kyle Shanahan. He's really smart, outside the box thinker, eccentric. You know, you've heard me say Shanahan always goes run game first to start his game plans. Well, McDaniel is going to be that guy too. He's going to be run game first. And to me, that offense coming from 49ers, where we've just done 3 years of talking about they run the ball first and the quarterback can't really carry the team, but here they were in the NFC Championship game 2 out of 3 years. They can make an offense that fits Tua. And Tua is more athletic than Garoppolo, too, to where, yeah, I think it makes sense. That defense, running game, Tua, they'll manage the right passes. We see Jimmy Garoppolo. He barely throws the ball down the field as it is. So they'll formulate a lot of that stuff for Tua, and I think that will fit him and the Dolphins quite nicely.
The most important thing they can do in Miami, if they are on board with Tua, is to get the owner, Stephen Ross, to leave them alone about potentially finding their next Dan.
Right.
You know, because that's where this all comes from. He's obsessed with getting a franchise quarterback, and he bounces from guy to guy, from option to option. He wanted Tua, and then Tua broke his hip. He wanted Joe Burrow. Then he got Tua. Then he wanted Deshaun Watson.
He wanted Deshaun Watson.
He's the one that wanted Deshaun Watson.
And as I understand them, got them out of the Deshaun Watson thing, too.
Well, because he wanted to have all the lawsuits settled.
Right.
He refused to go forward with the Deshaun Watson trade unless all 22 of the civil lawsuits were settled, and they were going to settle 18 of the 22, so that's what ultimately slammed the door. But at some point, he's just got to trust his football people to run his football team, and he's just got to enjoy the ride. But, you know, again, it's billionaire's privilege. It's the problem that is the common thread through every controversy that we're dealing with in the NFL. You have one person who is in charge and wants to be in charge and wants to remind everyone they're in charge. And for Stephen Ross, whether it's I want to tank to get the top pick in the draft, or I don't want Tua anymore, or now I do want Tua, whatever the case may be. And that's what Mike McDaniel is going to have to deal with. And I hope that he did his due diligence, that he understands that he's stepping into a potentially dysfunctional environment where the boss isn't there, and when he is there, he's going to have some ways of making his preferences known. I mean, wouldn't you? Look, I know that there's only 32 of these jobs, and when one comes your way, you're not going to say no to it, but I'd want to be damn sure that I'm not stepping into another bear trap and get fired after 2 or 3 years and then end up having to look for a new job somewhere else. I want to go somewhere where I think it's going to work for 10, 15, 20 years.
I know. It's just, you know, you said it right, though. It's hard when you just go, wait, this is my chance. I mean, who knows? Next year I might get left out. Offense might not do as well. All of a sudden, I'm not viewed as that guy anymore. So you kind of strike while the iron's hot. That's where some of these guys are, you know, they're in tough positions. Yeah, I think sometimes there's a lot of coaches who take jobs where they're not in love with it, but they're just, damn, this is the only one I'm getting offered, and I don't know if I'll get another one. And that is really tough. But the one thing I'll say about McDaniel and knowing him, and this is the thing I'll be watching for as we go forward, really. He doesn't have a huge ego, Mike. That's one thing, too. He's not like narcissist. He's not necessarily your typical NFL head coach, you know, or just, hey, you know, it's just like.
No, he's a different guy altogether. I like what I've seen from him.
He's a different guy. He's eccentric. Like I said, he's an outside-the-box thinker. He's cool, though, and he knows how to talk to people and players. but it's not going to be the typical, sometimes, you'll just, some guys in front of the podium, he'll just absolutely kill it in interviews and things like that. No, that's where he'll be a little bit different, and I think that's the number one question I've gotten from people, even walking around Radio Row, is just like, what about the guy? And what people seem to question his ability or social skills a little bit because he's a little socially awkward. He's really not. He's just smart.
Yeah, Bill
He's
Belichick
more reserved. Exactly right. And that's what I've said to a few people. You don't need to be like Johnny Macho Man to be a good NFL head coach. I mean, you don't. We've seen other guys that are, let's just say, for lack of a better way to say it, nerds or thinkers. I don't think Bill Walsh was necessarily like, beers and I'm a man and all that kind of crap. I think he was like a little eccentric himself. So that means nothing, and I hope people can just take it for what it is, and let's see what the results look like on the field.
There's an expectation that the Dolphins are going to be able to hold their defensive coaching staff together, especially since Brian Flores didn't get another job.
Right.
Which, if they want to stay and McDaniel was comfortable with them and he revamps the offensive side of the ball, the defense was working. The defense was getting it done. Now, not having Brian Flores will complicate things, but, this isn't a full-blown rebuild.
No.
And as you said, if Mike McDaniel can tailor an offense to the strengths of Tua Tagovailoa, minimize his weaknesses. Oh, by the way, that's called coaching. That's what you do. Who do I have? What do they do well? We'll do that. What do they not do well? We won't do that. And it could work.
It can.
It could work.
I think it can. I mean, again, you're talking about a team that, the Tua was an issue. Okay. Mike McDaniel will make them better. Oh, offensive line's been an issue. Well, damn, who's going to be better at building an offensive line and teaching offensive linemen how to block certain runs than anybody from the Shanahan run scheme, let alone the guy that was really closest to Kyle Shanahan. Closest. I think the most closest as far as an extension of what Kyle is as far as X's and O's are concerned. So, yeah, I look at that. That's going to be something I'm going to be interested in here too, Mike. I think you bring up a great point. And there's the defense is extremely talented. There's some coaches there that are still really good defensive coaches who, yeah, they're not Brian Flores, but they understand how to do things just like him and have been in New England. And Bill, and even on the offensive side of the ball, there's some New England guys left over. I know you want your own guys, but there might be some things you can go, well, maybe I could steal this from that offense a little bit and, kind of infuse it, make it all work the right way. I will be interested to see who he keeps and who they get rid of in the coaching department.
And again, the Deshaun Watson talk is not going to go away until he's traded to a team other than the Dolphins. That could come back to the front burner at any time. And Mike McDaniel taking that job and hoping to turn the Dolphins into something they haven't been in a very long time, which is a consistent contender. We're almost 50 years removed from their last Super Bowl win. It's amazing to think how good they were in the early 70s and really in the years since Dan Marino. They have struggled far more often than not.
It's a handful of years. I mean, right? All right, so wait, the last time they were in the Super Bowl was 84, right?
84, yes.
Championship games, they were in the championship game 85. When they lost to the Patriots.
Correct. They got beat by the Bills at least once.
Oh, one championship game through that run, right? But I think that's it, right? They haven't been to a championship game since then. You're right. I think it was maybe the second Bills Super Bowl or third.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. When they get to the playoffs, it's typically one and done.
It hasn't been good. You're right. They had the Dan Marino, his last year. They got killed in the divisional round by the Jags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have not made a run in the playoffs, you're right, in a long, long time. When's playoffs the last time? Was that Chad Pennington, the Dolphins?
No, Adam Gase took it the first year.
The Steelers with Tannehill and got
2016.
Right. Matt Moore. I forgot about that year.
Ryan Tannehill got hit low by Calais Campbell in December.
Yep.
And that was when he had the partially torn ACL that they decided not to repair then.
And then he tore it in training camp.
Non-contact in training camp, and that was the Jay Cutler year.
Yeah.
And then one more year after that, Gase was gone. Then it was Flores. 3 years with him, and now Mike McDaniel.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.